Hi, this is Chef Paul, and today we're going to be making pasta. I'm going to show you how you can just make a basic pasta at home. We're going to be using all-purpose flour. It's the flour you have at home. They use semolina and all-purpose, or they call it the double zero flour, which is really, really fine, that Italian flour. But you can just use regular all-purpose flour. That's what you have at home, and I'm going to show you how you can do it. So what we're going to start with here is I have eggs, right? And I have flour, olive oil, and salt. So to start with, I'm going to show you how you put egg yolks in there again. So right now I have 2 whole eggs in there and 5 yolks. So to do a yolk again, the easiest way is to take it like this. You can do it right over a sink, right? And you just use your hands and go like that and just go back and forth, and you put it in. So this particular recipe has 2 whole eggs and 6 yolks. And I'm also going to put some olive oil in it. This just makes it an easier way to do it by hand, because we're not going to be using a machine. We're going to use a rolling pin. So I'm going to go ahead and put a tablespoon of oil in here as well. Okay. Then we're going to mix it. So right now it's just egg yolks, right? It's got olive oil in it and eggs, right? So I'm just going to mix this up a little bit. Yes, it'll just make it easier if it's broken up a little bit when we add it to the flour. And there's a special way that you add it to the flour, which I'm going to show you in a second here. All right, so there you go. You got that there. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to put the flour down. So we're going to be doing that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this particular recipe calls for 2 cups. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 cups down. You got to do it on a table or a cutting board, but you can do it right on your countertop. You can do it right on your countertop. Put it down, right? And then what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of make that a well. You want to make a well. You got to make the well fairly large. Right? Kind of keep it together, because what the key with this is we want to get the egg and the flour to slowly mix together, and then you're going to knead it. And the kneading's the hard part. You know, we're going to have to knead this for 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to make that just like that. And if it leaks, I'm not going to worry about it. We'll get it. It'll still come out. So I got my spatula here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this inside our little. Put that in there just like that. That's holding pretty good. You want to get it all. Use your rubber spatula, get it all in there. And like any dough, we may need to adjust this with water or flour. So then what you're going to do is, just using a spoon, right? You're just going to take it and you're just going to slowly start to incorporate the flour. You just want to slowly start to incorporate the flour into it, going back and forth until you create a paste. And then I'm going to use my hands and we're going to mix it. Hopefully, if you get it in there good, and you can use this to kind of keep the boundary so it doesn't come apart. Just keep going, see here, keep going. Keep slowly adding it until it creates that paste. Back and forth. And if it leaks on you, don't worry about it. It'll still come out, because we're going to need this. This is just slowly adding that flour, going back and forth. You can just use this little spatula. Look at that, back and forth. I'm slowly adding it back into it. And then once we get, I have leakage. No worries. We're just going to kind of keep mixing it. And then when we get it all mixed like this, slowly going to mix it all, I'm going to put this together and I'm going to use my hands. It looks like a mess, but that's what it is. Okay, just kind of get it back together. Get the batter. There we go. There we go. Now you're going to kind of take it, and then you're going to use get it to come together. All right, pretty good. Now I'm going to end up using my hands here in a minute, and I'm just going to put it together. You're just going to kind of move it back and forth. If you have one of those bench scrapes, it's really easy, but I can use my hands. You don't have one at home. I don't have one. Just kind of move it back and forth, slowly get it to come together. There it goes. And then we're going to just start kneading it, and then kneading this dough. It's slowly going to turn into pasta. Keep kneading it. Keep kneading it. I got it here. I'm going to clean my hands real quick, and I'm going to knead it. And when you're doing this, if it starts to feel dry, you may have to add a little bit of water to it. So this one's feeling a little bit dry, so I can't quite get it all to come together. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water. Just a pinch. Just a little bit of water. There we go. And until it all comes back, and you're just going to knead it back and forth. You're just going to keep kneading this. And you're going to knead this for about, 10 minutes, back and forth. And it'll all end up, it looks messy, but it'll all end up coming together. It's still not coming out. There we go. There we go. Just keep going. Nice, keep going. I have a little bit more. Just a little bit more water. I get it all going, just a little bit more water in it. And there it is. So I'm getting it all. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knead this for 10 minutes. And you're gonna see it get nice and smooth. And it's just gonna start picking everything up, get all the flour. Just keep going. So we'll check back in 5 minutes and see how it looks. All right, it's been 5 minutes. So I don't know if you can see the dough. It's already you can see it's starting to turn into pasta. You just gotta keep kneading it. So it's gonna take, you just see how I'm kneading, you gotta push it. You gotta make sure you're pushing it, using that heel of your hand. It takes a little bit of strength, and you gotta go for about 10 minutes. So I'm at the 5 minute mark now. So we're gonna go 5 more minutes, and then we'll check on it. All right, so we're just about there. It's been about 10 minutes or so. And what you can see again when you're kneading, you gotta push it, and you can see how now it's nice and smooth. It turned into pasta. The kneading is everything. If you don't knead it, it's not gonna get smooth. It's not gonna turn into pasta. So you gotta keep kneading it, you gotta keep pushing it. Then once you get it like that, then you're just gonna go ahead and ball this up, right? Ball it up nice. You wanna get it again, so you get that. See how it bounces back like that? I don't know if you saw that. You get it up. That's when you've kneaded it enough. It's nice and smooth. Again, you push it. See how that bounces like that back? That's what you're looking for. That's perfect. So now what I'm gonna do is gonna take this, put it here, wrap it in plastic, and I'm gonna let it rest for about an hour, and then we're gonna make pasta. All right, so I cut this dough in half. You can cut it in half, cut it in thirds. I actually just cut this one in half. What you're gonna do is you just put a little bit of flour down, just so it doesn't stick. And then again with pasta, when you're doing it by hand here, I'm gonna start by pushing it, right? So I'm just gonna use my hands first. I'm gonna push my hands to start it, then we're gonna roll it. And this is gonna take a little bit of time. Because it's hard to roll out a little bit, so it's gonna take me probably 7 minutes or so, just like the kneading process. So I'm gonna go ahead and start rolling it out. So you just kind of move back and forth. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Okay, it's not sticking, it looks pretty good. Keep going. And you gotta get it so when you look at it, you should be able to, this is really thick, you should be able to see your hand on the other side when we actually get to the right thickness. So I'm gonna keep going. So I'm gonna do this for another 3 or 4 minutes and we'll see how it looks. All right, so I've been rolling for about 2 minutes and you can see that I'm getting there. It's getting nice and thin. If it sticks at all, I add just a dusting of flour, but we're still not there. We're almost there. I probably got another couple minutes of rolling here. We'll check back in 2. All right, so it's been, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. You can see that it's gotten a lot thinner. Just rolling it out. Pasta takes a little bit of muscle when you're doing it by hand, and you want to be able to see your hand on the other side. So you can see we're pretty thin there, so that's pretty good. So now what I'm gonna do is, if you're gonna make this, we're gonna use a knife to cut it. So what you can do is you're just gonna take it like this, we're gonna roll it, and we're gonna take it like this, and then we're gonna cut it. So then you can cut this into however you wanna make it. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and I'm gonna do like fettuccine. I'm just gonna take them. Kind of a wide fat. You can cut them as thin or as wide as you want. Maybe I'll just cut it's enough here. And then what you do is you take them and you're gonna have them where they kind of break down. So you have your own pastas, and then we're gonna take it and then we're gonna toss it in a little bit more flour because you want them to dry. So you just take it like that, you just kind of break them up. See what I'm doing here? That's nice. It's more like a pappardelle, a little wider noodle. You can cut them thinner, wider, whatever you want to do. This is old school, by hand. You know, you're gonna take this here, and you're just gonna kind of take that. Look at that. See that? That's a nice looking pasta, huh? You let that set, and I'm just gonna let that dry. I'll cut the other ones, and then I'm gonna show you how you make a ravioli. Okay, so I'm gonna show you, I got another sheet here of pasta. We just rolled it out, took another 4 minutes or so. You gotta make sure you can see your hand on the other side. And I'm gonna show you how you can do bow ties. Now what you're gonna do is you just kind of cut them, and then these are really easy. They're good to do with two. One person cuts, and the other person pinches. You just take them and you're gonna pinch. You pinch like that, push down, and you have a bow tie. See that? So you have a nice little bow tie pasta and you set them down. Same thing, so you're gonna take it like that, you're gonna pinch, push down, and you have a bow tie, right? Just let them set. It takes a while because you can see if one person's doing it. So if you have two people, one person's cutting and one person's pinching, and you're making your little bow ties, all right? So I'll finish these here. So I'm gonna finish these off, and then I'm gonna show you how to make a ravioli. All right, so now I'm gonna show you, basically I took them and I cut them in squares, and I'm gonna show you how you make a ravioli. They're really simple. I'm using the same filling that we used on our bolognese, right? That lasagna filling that we have, and you could put anything in a ravioli. Raviolis could be anything: feta cheese, meat, you name it. We're gonna do the 3 cheese, traditional 3 cheese. Kind of just go like that. You want to get the air out, so you just kind of push them down. Then you can use a fork. You're just gonna go around with the fork, and go around, and just kind of push them. Yeah, make sure you know. I may have put a little too much cheese in this one. You just kind of push them, push them, push them, push them. There we go. And you got old school raviolis here. And we have a cheese ravioli, and it's just time consuming. You just keep going, keep going. You're doing it with 2 people, it's easy. You let them set. Now the other part is you want to let these set for about, I don't know, maybe an hour at least. You just want them to kind of dry a little bit, let the pasta dry a little bit before you cook it. Or you can let them set like this, put a little bit of plastic wrap on them, and you can cook them the next day. But anyway, that's pasta. You can see it's really easy. You can flavor this with anything. This is just salt and pepper, normal plain pasta, but you can put black pepper, rosemary, anything you can think of. Lemon, you can put lemon zest in it, saffron. You can do all kinds of things with pasta. So now you know how easy pasta is to make. All right, so you can see we got fresh pasta here. So we did our raviolis that we filled with our 3 cheese filling, which was the ricotta, the Parmesan, and the mozzarella. We have a pappardelle, which is a wide fettuccine. Then we have we have a regular fettuccine, and then we have like a linguine style one right here. And then of course, bow ties. So you can see that you can make pasta at home. Easy.